Hey, it's #1 best-selling author and motivational speaker, Equalman, but many of you know me as Equalman, and I'm excited about today's 7 super tips video. Remember, this is where we turn the tables and showcase other motivational speakers and authors. And they've either inspired me or I've been blessed to meet them and share the stage with them. And today's no exception. I've been able to meet Gary Vaynerchuk a bunch, and he's actually a super nice guy, but more importantly, he's a brilliant small business owner that's just exploding left and right. So 7 tips from Gary Vee is all about today, and to be honest, the biggest challenge for us was to cut it down to 7.
I think I'm extreme and momentum, meaning go, 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 and then, I'm dead.
Same.
And when I say dead on Friday night, Friday at 11 p.m., I'm finished. Because what I put on the field from 6 a.m. Monday to Friday at 11 p.m., I know I'm in the top 0.01% of actual hours, because I'm really, I am going 6 to
12, 6 to 10.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, the earliest that I will come home is 11 p.m. at night.
But so I think this is the answer that the people at home want is that something that you taught yourself to do, or is that you? Because I know it's me.
I think that's something my parents taught me a little bit, because I watched my dad do it.
Yeah.
I think it's in me.
Yeah.
I think it's also the thing that I think is the most practical. So if you're watching right now, here's an important thing to say. You're not gonna become more talented. You can work on your talents to get them to a higher level, but it's incremental.
Sure.
I'm not gonna become an unbelievable all-time artist or videographer or photographer or painter or rapper or surfer or frisbee player. I'm just not. All of those things I can become better at. The one thing you can control, I feel, is time. I don't have to watch House of Cards.
Yeah.
I don't have to play Candy Crush. I don't have to do that shit that everybody does on a plane. What's that fucking thing with
Sudoku?
the numbers?
There's it's universal. Everyone around
I'm like
me.
looking all these flights. I'm like, what these guys are the girls. They're spending 4 hours. We've just flown from New York to fucking LA, and you just wrote a ton of fucking numbers into a box. Now, first of all, respect, because maybe that gal.
Maybe that's your burn off.
Exactly.
You're chilling
Works,
out,
every Sunday in the fall, you will find me burning out for 8 hours, first parking lot, then game, burned out. It's a football game. It doesn't have ROI to my hustle. It's my escapism.
Sure.
So maybe that's how people's brains work. Maybe it makes them sharp if they're programmers. But I would say this, Chase, if you're watching and you complain, this is a new way that I'm framing this conversation. All of my advice, all of my extremism, all of the way that you guys judge me is fine if you don't complain. If you complain, if you right now, before you watch, if you and your buddy are in a coffee shop right now and you're watching this because your buddy said, oh, you gotta watch Chase and Gary, and 20 minutes before you did that, you were sitting there and complaining that you're not winning, or life is unfair, or the man is holding you down, or damn, Bernie Sanders should have won because we all need to make $25 an hour minimum wage. Like, if you complain, well then you need to look at what you're spending your time on, because if you complain, you're not gonna complain your way to more talent, but if you complain and you watch this and unearth something, maybe you will play 6 hours less a week of video games. Maybe you do not have to. I do not have a Netflix account. Do you know how insane that is? Like, that upsets me. I feel like that should be, like, nobody should be allowed to be in that position in 2016. But I don't watch. Yeah. I don't consume stuff because I'm working, because it's what I want, and it's the thing I feel I can control. And all the time that's left is a little sliver for the Jets, a solid sliver for my family, and that's it. And you know this.
I do know it.
You know this. You know how I roll amongst the other personalities. I don't have time to like do the weekend stuff.
It's a choice for me. Like people say, well, how do you live 2 separate lives where there's the hustle? I don't. I try and make it. I mean, my wife Kate produced 1,000 photo shoots all over the world for 10 years for us together, and that was like, it was a lot of business, but we spent a lot, and we never had to come home and say, hey honey, how was your day? Because we were like this close to each other. And there's 15 other people, and it was very, very messy. Now that I'm really focused on Creative Live right now, there's a little bit more compartmentalization, but I've built a living and a life around the things that I love. So it's a little bit less separation for me. I think at the end of the day, let me try and characterize this. Is it know thyself? Is it like you're being you?
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Is the game. It's why it's in the title of the book.
Wasn't it on the like some pyramid at Delphi or something like that? Know thyself. It's like it's many thousands of years old. We're not writing this book for the first time.
There's nothing that's being written for the first time.
For sure.
The only thing we're doing is we're synthesizing it for 2017. There's no. I love
packaging exercise. Yeah.
100%. I love when people are like, Gary Vee, like in my Facebook comments, Gary Vee, Rick Thompson said that in 1942. I'm like, great. Fucking Caveman John said it in fucking 4 AD. Like, there's nobody, like nobody owns any of this shit. I have no interest in, there's people who've been selling hustle and work hard before, like me, like way before me. It's how do you apply it to the context of a mobile first world, of what we're doing right now was inconceivable. You know,
absolutely.
in 1974, what we're doing right, 1974, that was 4 minutes ago. This kind of quality of talent and production and equipment was only for one place, national television.
Yep.
So, to me, people piss me off because they're complaining and their great-grandparents, if they're not alive, would literally come out of the grave and punch kids in the mouth right now because they didn't have the fucking internet to make your dreams come true. There was no practicality to living the lives that we're living. Let's call a spade a spade. Me, with all my stuff, I would have a bunch of liquor stores in New Jersey right now if I was the generation before me.
Which would be fine, but it's
Hell
not
yeah, it would
right
have been fine. I would have not known another thing.
For sure.
Of course it would have been fine. Look at me. I came from nothing. My family came from nothing. Now I'm the biggest real liquor retailer on the East Coast. It would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But the platforms we have now, you could be the greatest entrepreneur of a generation if you want, if you're good enough. The opportunity has never been greater. The internet is America on steroids, and you still have people complaining.
About opportunity, about, yeah.
Listen, I'm so happy so many of you do it. More for me. Keep fucking complaining. Thrilled. Interested.
I'm gonna put a pin in two things.
right,
One, first of all, is like
good thing you stopped that.
Yeah,
'cause
I
was about to really get
know
going.
better.
I just don't understand.
Yeah. Before you.
Chase, seriously, give me one more second before you segue.
Okay.
Can you like help me here and get on this bandwagon? Like, we're so lucky.
We are lucky.
We're so lucky. Like, you could have been an ant. Depth versus width. You know, I sold 100,000 copies of my book the first week. There's a lot of people that came out with bigger audiences, bigger stars, and they didn't because people actually care about me. As you know, and I talked a lot about in Crush It, and I followed up a book 2 years later called The Thank You Economy. I don't think there's anything else besides the people on the other side of these cameras.
Yeah.
You know, if they care about you, then you win. And I look at things like the Grateful Dead or the Rolling Stones or Fish. Like, they don't have the biggest fans, but they have fans that travel and care the most.
Diehards.
WWF, wrestling.
Totally.
Like if you look at economics and business, my friends, you know, you could have one subscriber. That subscriber could be Oprah Winfrey. And that impact of that subscriber can make you so much more, bring you so much more, whatever you're going for. And so I think community engagement and actually acknowledging people leaving comments and replying. I mean, I was up at Snapchat till 1 o'clock in the morning last night, just replying, using the new features, replying. I think it's imperative. I would never take that for granted. I think if you're a digital influencer or somebody that's building a little bit of mojo, the number one thing you can do is thank the people that are leaving comments. I spend a lot of time in my Instagram comments right now.
Judy,
please.
to segue, after she read your book, she literally was up till 2 or 3 in the morning
Just
responding to comments.
And that's why people liked her.
Tweets,
That's what people
especially
did.
during a time when Twitter was like the thing, right? So I know. I mean, you're singing to the choir here. I mean, we feel this and we believe it. So thank you so much.
And
for
it
that.
works. And what I've noticed from you guys from afar, because I've paid attention, we've been
Well, thank
talking
you.
a long time at this point. You guys haven't gone away from it, and too many people get a little base and then they stop because it becomes overwhelming. Look, there was a time where I responded to every single tweet in 2008 to 2011, and that took me till 2 in the morning.
It's amazing how many people I meet that say that. They're like, oh yeah, I've been DM'd or he replied me. Yeah.
And I was able to now because of Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook comments and YouTube and the podcast. I can't get to them all. I'm one human. I don't want somebody else to do it. But I do think that I think it's achievable.
Yep.
Oh, here's Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Nice.
Health and fitness.
Totally. Lean and mean.
medium is the message, and if you can create, then you are going to stand out, because there's a lot of people who are not creating, they're just typing words, and that's not to say that it's not creative, but we can stand out from the other folks who are not creative.
Listen, video above pictures, pictures above written word. I mean, that's been pretty established in society. Like I think that's been something that we've seen, and so I think that, can somebody who writes break out on top of somebody who does video? Of course, if you're the best at your craft, you can break out, but I don't disagree with you. Anybody that's taking pictures or making videos in today's society can win.
For sure. So, but what is it? Is it the actual content? Is it the message? Is it the medium is the message?
It's the people. I don't think the medium's the message for me.
Yeah.
I think it's the people that know how to translate the context of the medium with their message. That's who wins. So I look at all these platforms as filters.
Okay.
As long as I start as a pure form of me, and I understand how to filter contextually into those places, I will win. How do I translate? I'm different. I'm different on Snapchat than I am on Instagram, than I am on Twitter, than I am on Facebook.
Yep.
But I'm always me.
Hey Gary, my name is Mark Sersasimo. You might remember me from this little incident.
Please buy Gary's book. My life depends on it.
Buy it!
My question for you today is this. I have 39,000 Instagram followers. Instagram.com/Mark. And I average about 250 likes per photo. But I also run the Instagram account for the company that I work for. We have 6,000 followers. And we also average about 250 likes per photo. What am I doing wrong on my personal account? I must be doing something right because I have the follower count, but they're not engaging.
Let's get into this.
Help.
Mark, couple things. I do remember you. You're a great dude. Thanks for being on the show. You know, there's two things that stand out. I took a few minutes to look because I wanted to give a good answer here, not just a general answer. Number one, Vimeo is a beloved brand to that community, more so than you are to your community, for a couple reasons. One, I just think a lot of people followed Instagram/Mark because it's Instagram/Mark, right? You have like we saw that in Twitter days. The people that got the like real name stuff have exponentially more followers because we're like, who are these people? Before, and in a world where Instagram doesn't have verified, there's like, who is this guy? I literally think some people are following you so they think you're Mark Sanchez or some like other Mark. So I do believe that you have an inflated number of followers who actually don't give a rat's ass about you, but they're just following you because of that name. That's not the diss, but that's just what I believe. Number two, looking at the accounts very easily, and D-Rock, put up a little sample of both right here. I don't know if you can frame it, but like, you know, and maybe you can go through like showing 6 of the photos here. So what do you see difference? What do you see difference? That's why we keep Steve around for grammar. What's the difference you see in these things? Here's the core thing. Vimeo is putting a ton of human beings in their pictures. You are not. And I think a strategy of making it more human, not just landscape and pretty pictures, would really help you. Don't forget, Instagram is a platform that there's a lot of human emotion to it. It's still a more authentic place than some of the other social networks. Though landscaping and beautiful pictures work, human over indexes, and more importantly, you don't have a mix. The problem is you don't have a mix, and I think you need a mix of the two, and so those would be the core things. Babin here is all bent out of shape. He just said today is rough. To be very frank with you, Vayner Nation, I don't give a fuck if Tyler or you think today was rough, because I had 17 meetings that he couldn't be a part of, because I'm actually running a fucking business here. I'm not some fucking teenage beanie bopper trying to do a vlog, or some fucking influencer doing a fucking blog, or some fucking family that's hoping for some free detergent because of their fucking blog. I'm fucking working here, Tyler. So sorry that your fucking video blog is rough. But let me tell you what's not rough. What's not rough is we're living through the great era of ground shift in marketing and business. Everybody in this fucking amazing town of New York City, which is, let me just tell you, everybody who's not here, fucking vibrant at 10 p.m. right now, because 98% of your cities are fucking sleeping. Everybody here is shitting their fucking collective pants because the ground is shifting. Everything that our grandparents and parents grew up with, everything that we knew, tried and true, the stable pillars of media, commerce, influence, persuasion, the way we make decisions, the things we buy and how, what is cool and what is not, is on fucking call. The world is on call. And you know what that means? Hustlers, the opportunity is obnoxious. So whether you're focusing on vlogs or influencers or how to hack Instagram stories or how to create Alexa voice skills or how to create your own podcast, because you see I'm fucking full, committed, tilt. If you are not following my podcast, I'm fucking pissed. The way I call today, the sum up of all my meetings today, none of which you just watched, is that the earth is moving. There's instability in the foundation of how it was, which makes an innovator like me really fucking happy. And what suffocates all you B players, because you like it nice, slow, and stable. Let me be very clear with this ending rant, that game is over. And the people that are gonna win over the next 5 to 7 years are gonna be very comfortable in controlled fucking chaos. So you better get your speed up, you better work harder, you better work smarter, you better try things, you better keep your subjectiveness and your ego at the door, because that slows you down and it doesn't make you do. You better fucking move. You can live on 6 hours sleep, so you have 18 hours. You have 18 goddamn hours. I want to know what you're doing with your 18 hours. Because you can work your 9 to 5, and that's 9, and you can travel for an hour here and there, respect, nice little solid commute. Oh, you want to be a family man? Mazel tov. You can spend 2 hours with your kids. What are you doing with those other 5 hours? You're watching House of fucking Cards. You're playing Madden. You're relaxing from the other intense 10. Gary, I already spent 11 hours. Well, great. Then don't complain or want more. Respect that by getting rest and this and that, you were giving up opportunity to go into a new world. You want the audacity to have a 1% life. Let's call it what it is. You want to live as well as the 1 to 2% in the world. It's not very complicated. The math is very raw. Like, if you want to have one of the best lives in the world, which is you live on your terms, you have to pay your dues to get there. And you have to be lucky enough to figure out that you had talent in the thing that you actually want to do. Because you can work 24 hours a day, and if you stink at golf, or you're not a good content producer, or your logos look like the shit I would make, then you're gonna lose. So that's what you gotta do. Good. So it's early Monday morning, and I've been wanting to make a Monday morning video for a long time, and finally D-Rock, we're doing it. So real quick, this is just a rant, very simple, and something that I want you to pass on or watch every Monday morning, because the level of complaining is unacceptable. Look, what if I told you this was the last Monday morning of your life? What if I told you you die this week? Would you complain about your crap job or that test you don't want to take? I doubt it. You would go much higher level thinking. Well, that's really what it takes. It takes understanding that if you're not pumped right now, if you're begrudging what you're about to do, if you're not looking forward to it, look, I respect practicality. You gotta go through school because your parents want to. You gotta pay your rent. You got student loans, I get it. But please recognize the world we're living in. We're living in a world where there's so much more opportunity. This internet thing created way more opportunity for all of us, way more. I mean, look, you might not even be alive. Like, your mom and dad could have had sex like 3 minutes later and you wouldn't even exist, and you're complaining. You could have ended up being a bus, a tree. I just don't get the mentality of being head down sad on a Monday morning. I'm gonna make Monday morning my bitch. I'm gonna make you Saturday Monday morning. That's what I wanna do every morning, and that's what I want from you. Please, take a step back and think about how awesome it actually is. And then recognize that you can attack the world in a totally different way because you were lucky enough to be born during this era.
Those are the 7 super tips from Gary Vee, who I actually ran into on these exact streets just a couple weeks ago. Please feel free to subscribe to our 7 super tips series. Just like we've done here with Gary Vee, we're taking the top thought leaders that I've been able to meet or been exposed to and give you those 7 super tips that help you find, unlock, and unleash your inner superpower. In the meantime, remember, it's not what we take from the world, it's what we leave behind. Please feel free to subscribe to our 7 super tips series. To Today we're going to go over the 7 super tips from best-selling author and hey, it's #1 best-selling author Eric Equalman. Sorry. Hey, it's #1 best-selling author and Hey, it's #1 best-selling author and motivational speaker Eric Equalman, and today we're going to distill down 7 super tips from